Hey, welcome, friends. So glad you joined with us today. Are you enjoying this cooler weather? Man, it's about time fall has finally decided to show up. Hey, we have in the studios with us Bianca Pruitt Cox. Mm-hmm. I'm probably the only person that still thinks of you as Bianca Pruitt, right?
Yeah. For a long time.
Yeah, Bianca, so glad to have you today.
Thank you.
Tell us about your family.
Well, I am married to someone that's an internal medicine doctor, Bill. Mm-hmm. And he's been a doctor for about 28 years. And we have two kids, Emily and Christopher. And Christopher's 26. And he works with people who are lower on the autistic spectrum. And Emily's 25. And she is a registered nurse. And she's working on her prerequisites for physician assistant school.
Cool. You know, how long have you and Bill been married?
For about 28 years. 28
years.
Mm-hmm.
Lifetime, right?
A lifetime.
Yeah.
A long time.
Just about got him broke in. Is that what I'm hearing? Oh, maybe not.
I don't know.
Well, he'll get there. It took Barbara a while, but she finally. I'm still trained. I tell people right now, I'm still trained. You know, I'm well trained, as a matter of fact. You know.
I don't know. He's been doing a lot of training with me. We've been working together for about 6 years now.
Okay.
And I've kind of. I used to be a little rougher around the edges, but I'm just kind of.
He's helped you.
He really has.
He's helped us. Bill's a real blessing to our family. You'll remember that I had been sick for a long, long time, and no one could diagnose what was wrong with me, and you and I hadn't connected in quite some time, and said, "Did I know you had married a doctor?" Which I did, but I definitely had forgotten. He says, "My husband's a doctor. I think he can help you." I was in. I was automatically in. And if I could use a word for Bill, I mean, first off, he's very, very patient with his patients. He's very patient and very thorough, very methodical.
Yes.
Thinks through everything. And the first time he saw me, he did not tell me what he thought it was, but he knew the first time he saw me what the problem was.
Right.
But he sent me to a specialist, had him run the test, and when I came back in, he went, "That's what I thought the problem was." Yeah. And then when Barbara got sick, both of you.
It was, it was a gift to us to be able to be there for y'all.
Tough time. But the two of you made sure that she got proper care. I'll never forget that.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I think my husband is so gifted at. And I tell people all the time that in this day and age, in the medical field, for you to stay in it and really enjoy it, it has to be a calling.
Yes. Yeah.
And with my husband, it is. And he was called at the age of 5 through a dream.
One of the most difficult things when Barbara got sick was my indoctrination into the medical field.
Really? How so?
The reason people were in medicine, it wasn't to help people.
Oh.
It's a terrible thing to say.
Right.
But very, very, I mean, it's tough enough just dealing with the disease, and no one can determine what that disease is.
Right.
And then to be treated not so well, and definitely not in a timely manner. And yet that never bothered Bill. He would just encourage me, going, "Okay, we'll find somebody else. We'll." And you've known me longer than most. I mentioned, I still think of you as Bianca Pruitt. We went to church together at Bethel Assembly. We had a young lady was on a couple weeks ago, and she was in Dr. Dan's class.
Yes.
Finally, somebody that can appreciate that besides me, okay? Dr. Dan, right?
Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! That was Oh my gosh.
Yeah, a few
So
years back, right?
Southwestern?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Now, your mom was a single mom? Right?
Well, my parents were divorced.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
after like 21 years, then she
Yeah.
she was a single mom. Yeah.
So what was it like? I remember you attending Bethel. Tell me, what was it like when you were growing up as a child?
When
And even those early teen years.
Yeah. My parents got divorced when I was like in the 7th grade, which is
Okay.
a really tough time.
Okay. Wow.
And I really was not that close with either parent.
Okay.
I had an older sister that was like 16 years older than I was. And
Wait a minute. Wait, say that again. How much older?
she was about 16 years older.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I
And
knew she was older, but I didn't realize she was that much
yeah.
older.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I have. She's Beverly, and then there's Bridget. Bridget's
okay.
like 5 years older.
Okay.
And so, for all intents and purposes, my sister is the one who raised me.
Okay.
And she was
Now that you
a
said
parent.
that, I now remember that.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I had a senior moment there just for a second.
No, it's okay. That's okay. So, but I do want to say this, that when I started going to Bethel, it was a very wonderful experience because of the people that were there at that specific time.
Right.
And it was like all of my friends there that did have parents that were together, I just fit right in, and they parented me just like they parented their kids. They expected from me just what they would expect from their children. And I don't know that I would be where I'm at today if it hadn't been for that church and the people in that church.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what the church is supposed to be.
Mhm.
We're supposed to be a family. We talk
Right.
about a lot of stuff. There's actually a pastor that's doing a series right now that I saw. He says, "Church, it's not an event. It's a family." I almost messed that up.
Mhm.
It's not an event.
Mhm.
It's a family.
Mhm.
And if you're looking for a crowd, then it's an event.
Mhm.
But if you are raising up disciples, then it should be
Mhm.
a family. So did you guys live in Arlington?
Uh-huh.
So where'd you go to school?
Like which school?
Elementary. Where'd you go to elementary? Do you remember?
At Blanton Elementary School.
Blanton.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Junior-
then Carter Junior High, and then Sam Houston High School. Uh-huh.
See, I'm obviously we're telling each other's age now because I was obviously quite far ahead of you. But I went to Carter Junior High School
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and Sam Houston. I actually ran into somebody the other day, and I have no idea where it was. And they told me they were from Arlington.
Mhm.
And so I immediately said, "Where'd you go to school?" And they
Uh-huh.
said, "Sam Houston." Of course, they're talking about the new Sam Houston,
Mhm, mhm.
which is obviously not new now.
Right. Mhm.
And I said, "Well, I don't know what the building that was Sam Houston, after it was Sam Houston, became Shackelford, and now it's some kind of, I don't know, training school or
Oh,
something."
wow, I didn't know that.
So, yeah, I know. I remember that all too well. So you graduated from Sam Houston,
Mhm.
and then God gave you a dream.
Well, no, actually, that was my husband who had a dream. But what I did is I went to college, and I was going to be a teacher. And as I was working my way through college, I had a job as an aide in a nursing home.
Ah,
And so one of the nurses there, and that was back in the day when they actually had nurses on staff at nursing homes. 'Cause I'm finding that they don't do that much anymore. But anyway,
kind of like doctor's office. Let's don't go there, right?
yeah, I know. And so, but anyway, she kept telling me that she thought that I needed to be a nurse, and I was like, I just really don't know about that. I just didn't know. I just didn't think I was that great in math. And so, but every week I would get Employee of the Week.
Wow.
Every week, and I really enjoyed it. And then one day I just woke up and I felt a calling to be a nurse. And so after I got a degree in early childhood education, then I went to nursing school. And I still do have a gift in teaching, and I was a nurse educator for many years, and I love teaching. And now that I'm working with my husband, at his practice, I get to teach all day long, but instead of teaching nurses, now I'm teaching patients. Yeah.
How to care for themselves.
Right, for diabetes, if somebody has, chronic kidney disease, or if they have hypertension, lupus, you name it, I can teach on it.
There's, there's so much information on the internet today. Someone that and I will not mention their name today, but somebody was diagnosed with a severe cancer. And the first thing the doctor told him was, do not go online and read about this.
Right.
Of course, the first thing he did was
go online.
Yeah. And when he saw the mortality rate, he went, oh, gee, man, I wish I hadn't read this. And the good news is he's done the treatments and he's doing really, really well.
Yeah, you have to be careful about that, because there's so many people that will call themselves an expert and just put something on the internet, and you think, oh wow, that looks professional, that looks this or that, and then you find out later that no, those statistics were not even true. And I knew someone that recently had a stroke, and they had read somewhere that the mortality rate for someone that had a stroke, that they would only live like 5 years or 15 years or something like that. And I'm like, wait a minute, I've never heard of that. And I turned to my husband and I'm like, Bill, have you ever heard of that? He goes, I've never heard of that. So then I went on a reputable site and I showed her that, and I'm like, do you see anywhere on here that it says that? And she's like, no. I said, that was misinformation. Yeah.
That's what this, I don't remember the time, just the length of time they gave him. It was not long, and it was like 80% chance that, it's no hope whatsoever. And so when you get that, and particularly in this guy's case, healthy as a mule.
Right, and that plays into it.
Nothing wrong with him, never had any problems, and then he just went in for a normal routine, and so he's kind of blindsided. So there are people watching today that they're trying to figure out who to listen to, because there's we are in information overload.
Yes, we are.
So if somebody they've either got a diagnosis and they don't understand it, or they've got a diagnosis and the picture is quite grim, what would be your advice to them?
My advice to them, number one, would for them to find a really good internal medicine doctor.
I can recommend one to you.
That's right.
His name is Dr. William Cox. He's over on Walnut Hill in the Presbyterian Doctor's Wing. I assure you, he'll take care of you. You can tell him that I sent you, okay?
Well, the thing about a really good internal medicine doctor, and we had a patient that said this to us the other day, or they had written something about Dr. Cox, and they were saying he has the ability to where this lady's husband had cancer, and she goes, he has the ability to come in, even though my husband had 10 other specialists, and be able to sift through all of that information and boil it down, and number one, be able to tell them exactly what was going on. This is what is going to have to be done. This is what this means. This is what this is going to mean to you. And this is what I need to do for you as your internal medicine doctor. And then be able to spit out a plan of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, And he's really good at that. Now, not all internal medicine doctors are going to be patient. Not all of them are going to have the gift that he has, but there are those that are out there like him.
Right. That would be my admonition to people too. I'm not just there are. I'm confident there are other doctors out there like Dr. Cox that will take time with you. But that's first off. Not only you need to be have somebody who is honest, but somebody that's willing to have the hard conversation.
That's right.
When we were on the journey with Barbara, probably over halfway, he had the hard conversation with me, and when I went home, I went, that's not what I wanted today. And, and on that day, I went, that's not what I need today. You know, I'm trying to figure out what's the answer here. And so when you have those hard conversations, sometimes it's still what you need to hear. You just don't want to hear it, right?
Right.
So it makes you. I'm reminded of the story of Mary. When Jesus was born, there were so many things. Sorry, Chris. There were so many things that were happening. She couldn't take it all in. So the Bible says she pondered those things in her heart. When I get information, good or bad, and it's too much, then I just put those in my heart.
That's a good thing to do.
And then I tell the Lord, I say, okay, I don't know what to do with this. Help me walk through this.
Right.
And that's what I did when Dr. Cox gave me that information. I went, and he was telling me, says, now you don't want to hear this. And that's not when you kind of go, oh, gee.
Oh, no.
I can't imagine he's going to tell me something I don't want to hear.
Right.
But he did. And I said, I told him, I said, I'm going to have to think about this because this isn't where I'm at right now. It's, I have, since going through this journey with Barbara, I've told both my sisters and their spouses, I said, you might want to learn something about this journey because one of you is going to go through this, you know? So, but I totally agree. They need to find somebody. And there are doctors out there that do care.
Right.
There are doctors that they're not in it for the money.
Right.
They're not, one thing about, and it's not like Dr. Cox is not busy. I've never came into his office thinking I was the next number. And, okay, here's my 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do my 1, 2, 3. I'll see you in a month.
Right.
That never happened. When you left, if you didn't have what you needed, it's because you didn't ask, or you weren't willing to receive,
Yeah.
Which is what sold me on him. And there are other doctors out there just like him that they're not going to be in such a hurry. They're just going to, they're trying to get their 300 patients in today.
Right.
And they're not going to look at you and care about you.
Right.
And that's why if you're needing medical help, my admonition would be no different than what you said. I'm just saying a little different. You need to find somebody that cares about you.
That's right. That's right. And that's one thing, about my husband is that he not only is so patient and he takes his time, but he is so compassionate.
Yes.
And he cares about each and every one. And I can tell you, many years ago, there were a lot of doctors in Dallas that had stopped seeing Medicare patients because number one, the Medicare reimbursements are so low, and then it was such a hassle to get any reimbursement. But I remember one day my husband came to me and he said, Bianca, I just want you to know I'm so sorry that you did not marry a doctor that's going to be rich, because he said, I will not ever stop seeing Medicare patients unless we no longer even have beans and rice on our table at home to eat. He said, because that is what I have to do. And, and that's another reason why I love my husband. Yeah. Because he cares so much, and he cares so much about the elderly population as well. He's just...
So that's why he loves me. Is that what you're telling me?
Huh?
That's why he loves me?
No. No. I mean, he has
I'll be there eventually, sister.
I mean, there's all ages in his group. But I'm just saying that I think it's because he was raised by his grandmother. She had made such a great impression on his life, and she was a lot older, and so I think, and he's an old soul, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, he's really good. I mean, and these as people age, they have 50 different things wrong with them. Yeah.
You had, we were talking before the podcast today, you were talking about your son has a dream. Your daughter has a dream. You have a dream. See, for our kids, the only thing they dream of is survival.
Right.
There's no future. There's no hope.
Mm-hmm.
Even those that have accepted Christ as Savior, now they have hope and security in their salvation.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as a bright future, there's no dream at all. What would you tell to someone that doesn't have a dream today?
I guess I would tell someone that doesn't have a dream that, we cannot ever give up on ourselves, and we cannot ever look at our past and the way we were raised to equate what type of a person I'm going to be able to become in the future. We can't let a teacher or a police officer or anyone tell us what our worth is.
Can I ask you a question before you go any further? Did you ever have a teacher tell you that you'll never amount to anything?
I had a teacher in high school that told me that even though I made an A++ on my junior theme, that I was just in a regular English class, not in honors, and that I would not ever be able to go to college. Mm-hmm. And I just looked at her and said, well, you know what? I don't know what you're talking about. I said, but I'm going to college, and, I'm going to be a teacher or something, so I don't know what you're talking about. So I just, you have to find some way within yourself to be your own cheerleader, even if nobody else is going to be there to be your cheerleader. Be your own cheerleader. And know that, especially when you're a Christian, you have God. You have a higher power, someone that is cheering you on. And even though you cannot see God, there are going to be people that will come into your life that will be Jesus to you.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Every week, Bianca, we try to give a nugget, something people can take home with them and use. And familiar passage I'm going to use today is Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. It says, for I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. There are plans for good, not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. The Lord's got a plan for everybody. I so appreciate what you said about so many of us, it's because the hand that we have been dealt. Some of us, it's because we haven't done real well with the hand that's been dealt us.
Right.
But it doesn't matter which of those categories you're in. God's got a plan.
That's right.
And if we trust Him, He'll reveal that plan to us, and He'll cheer us on.
That's right.
To do beyond what we ever thought was possible. Who would have thought a girl that? What street did you live on? I should have asked that question. You had to be on the east side there.
Forstall.
Say it again. Forstall.
What street I lived on? Yeah.
Forstall?
Uh-huh.
I don't remember. What's that other street? I don't remember that one because I thought it
Collins.
Oh, Collins.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're really close to Carter Junior High School. Well, you're an old East Side girl.
Right.
See, I'm an old East Side boy myself. I grew up on the East Side.
Right.
And those who grew up on the East Side, talk about the wrong side of the tracks. We were on the wrong side of the tracks. But God. Doesn't matter where you come from. You are precious to your Father. All you got to do is trust Him.
That's right.
And He'll give you a dream beyond what you ever thought. Look what the Lord has done for Bianca Pruitt.
Right.
An incredible husband, 2 kids that love the Lord.
And, I know that there's, like with my kids, I know that they grew up with privileges that I did not even have, right? But like with Christopher Christopher has high-functioning Asperger's syndrome. And he has defied the odds, defied anything that his teachers ever thought that he had the ability of. And it was really hard during those years of trying to figure out what to do for him and the therapies and all that he had to go through and all the growth. And there was even one time in my life, I'm like, is there even a God? Does He even listen? We're just dying here, with all the stress and everything. And then one day my son grew up. And had he not gone through XYZ, he would have never gotten to where he is today. And so I do believe that no matter how hard your life is, no matter what you're going through, that God will use that to get you to where you need to go if you just have enough faith in yourself to do, to stay on that track.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Of our need for permanent facilities, long-term facilities.
Yes.
And we're believing that the Lord's going to take and provide the finances so we can build this absolutely debt-free.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you tell people to partner with us today?
Oh, my gosh. I just think that Dallas Metro is an investment that you could not only make, it's not just a tax write-off. It's something that you can invest in someone's life for their present and for their future. And Clay, you've told me about the dreams that you have for that. And I would love for that dream center to come into fruition the exact way that you said, because it's not just helping people. It's not just having a place to worship. It's not just having a place where you can store things. But, you have a dream of, teaching people, vocational skills or how to go on a job interview, things that will help them. It's kind of like if you teach someone how to fish, they're going to be able to eat for a lifetime.
Right.
And so I think that it would be a wonderful investment for people to have just, not only in other people, but it's going to affect the kingdom in the future going on. It's a wonderful investment.
One of the greatest frustrations in life is people do what they know.
Mm-hmm.
And until they're exposed that there is another way, there's a better way. It's helping people,
mm-hmm.
helping them learn. It doesn't matter where you live.
Mm-hmm.
God's got a plan for your life,
mm-hmm.
and you can trust Him.
If we can be Jesus, to
Right.
everyone, to
Right.
this world,
Yep.
if we as Christians can just be Jesus to those that we meet, we could change the world.
Absolutely. Bianca, thanks for being here
Mm-hmm.
today. So glad you came by. So
I
good.
love you, Clay.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm indebted to you and Bill. I'm grateful for you. Okay, folks, how would you like to close on that note there? We're so glad you were here today. How you can help us with our dream. And this isn't our dream. This is what the Lord is doing in our city. He's just asking us to partner with Him. So I'm asking you, would you join with us and fulfill what this dream the Lord has for our city? And that is a permanent long-term facility for Dallas Metro. If you've been watching the last few weeks, you've seen some of the new leaders that the Lord has raised up. You've seen some people's lives, that their lives have been changed by the gospel. And it's happened because of people just like you partnering with us, standing with us. So I'm asking you, would you go to our webpage, dallasmetro.org, click on All In, then click on What is All In, and down there you'll see the pictures of the facility. And I'm asking you to prayerfully consider joining with us for the next 18 to 24 months. Make a monthly commitment. And together as we do this, you're going to hear, I'm believing that as the funds come in, you're going to hear about us breaking ground, building this new facility to give this next generation of leaders the Lord has already raised up, putting them in a position to win. You're going to be a part, and I thank you for it. God bless you, friends. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.